Are you lost in the chaos of today's society? If all you need is a daily dose of quick updates on social matters around you, then look no further and tune into The Far Side, an 8-minute social inquiry podcast by English Club of Foreign Trade University. Strap in and get yourselves ready to look at the world from a whole new perspective. And it all starts right now.
Welcome back to the Far Side podcast, where last time we were discussing how mass media is portraying mental illness. This time, let's begin where we left off by examining what's going on around us. So, some days ago, I came across an article about the emergency of a global mental health crisis during the COVID-19 pandemic.
What happened?
The COVID-19 pandemic has really worsened our global mental health. The national survey in 2020 reveals a high prevalence of psychological distress. According to WHO, there has been a threefold increase in rates of depressive disorders in Ethiopia.
I think it is the increased social isolation that's worsened our global mental health. Social distancing measures help prevent the spread of COVID-19. I agree. But we should refer to this practice as physical distancing to emphasize that people do not need to be socially isolated.
Yeah, that's not the only reason. Economic uncertainty brought in by the pandemic is detrimental to mental health too. Unemployment is associated with symptoms of distress, depression, anxiety, subjective well being, and even suicide. The obvious effect is on women. Women are the primary victims due to fear of being unemployed and deal with prejudices from their families and society.
But the good news is that governments can rely on organizations such as the World Federation for Mental Health to help manage and support mental health services. They provide psychosocial support for health workers, managers of health facilities, or people in isolation, and even members of the public, especially those in need of food, shelter, clothing, and medication.
Well, mental health has long been a concern in all nations, not just during the pandemic. This concerns me about the state of mental health care and education in Vietnam. Vietnam is a developing country with limited conditions and facilities, and of course, the access to mental health care is limited.
I agree. There is a massive gap in Vietnam's curriculum, especially in first and second education, with, among other things, mental health education being completely devoid. I mean, both children and their parents may grow up and endure various illnesses that heavily hinder their academic performance and daily life without even noticing it, thus severing the conditions and making future treatments even harder.
There is also a lack of healthcare catering to various disorders such as depression or bipolar disease, especially in rural areas. Treatment is also expensive, as medication can be prohibitive and private therapy is especially costly. Most of us only attach great importance to our physical health without the attention to mental health. Yeah, and in addition, we have shortage of psychiatrists as many graduates do not tend to work in the mental health care sector.
So it is important that Vietnam government raise the public's perception of mental illness. You know, the public image, especially among the older generation, is generally very poor. They have little knowledge regarding the effect of mental illnesses and even get mad when their children exhibit symptoms of mental disorders because they simply do not understand the root of the issue. Therefore, the government has to promote mental health communication to all generations, from children to adults. So, what do you think?
I think you're right. we can promote by incorporating mental health knowledge into the school subjects or making it a compulsory subject. And it is suggested that the government have adequate remuneration for doctors, staff in the psychiatric industry, interest professional training on mental health as a way to encourage college students of psychology. How about organizing annual national events related to mental health?
Great idea. Like the targets are children, college students, and workers. But Vietnam needs support from other nations to organize these events.
I can't agree with you more.
The government alone cannot achieve success. Therefore, we ourselves as citizens need to equip ourselves with knowledge about mental health to know how to deal with psychological trauma.
Yeah, and we can take advantage of the media to get knowledge by joining communities of mental health education on sites like Twitter or Facebook. By sharing your story, you are likely to reach friends and family who are also likely want to share it with more people.
Moreover, our story may inspire others, give them hope, and show just how common mental health illnesses are.
You're right. A healthy lifestyle is also the key to taking care of our mental health. I mean, healthy diet, healthy physical activity level, and a healthy body weight.
Well, you know what they say, healthy body, healthy mind. But I think we should look even further as to balance our work and life. Because I think that no matter how strong you are mentally, if you are constantly under the pressure over a long period of time, you will face mental health problems.
Absolutely. As much as I enjoy discussing with you, I think it's about time we wrap up today's episode. Thank you guys for listening. But before we end it, if you know someone who is desperately in need of help, please do contact us. And that is it. Again,
Again, I am Tuấn,
and I am Kim. Bye for now, and we will see you in our next episodes.
and that is it for this episode. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy what we do here, visit our Facebook fan pages, English Club of Foreign Trade University, and Mastermind, English Social Inquiry Contest, for regular updates, and we would love to hear your take on the matters we just discussed. A quick reminder, new episodes come out every Monday and Thursday at 8:30 p.m. on Google, Apple Podcast, and even Spotify, so make sure not to miss it. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next episode.